JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 25th of June, 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session, guys, where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So, I can see in the chat room, yep, Erica, good morning to you too. I hope you had a fantastic week, and I hope you're gonna have a fantastic weekend as well. But I'll wish you that at the end of this video as well. So, but jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. Yes, we did have a nice good push higher. It did drift a little bit to the downside at the end, but nevertheless stayed in positive territory. And as you can see, we came closer to this downside resistance line I talked about previously, and this one's taken from the high of the 16th of February. So basically for now, everything's kind of working out nicely here, because we what I said previously, that if it pushes above that 21-day EMA, this increases the chances for a possible move higher here, a further move higher. But initially we will only target the downside line together with this 29,241 zone. So for now I'm keeping an eye just on that. If we clear that area, then yes, higher levels could be met and potentially more buyers could be attracted. The Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index. So yes, beautiful move here to the upside. We managed to overcome that 29,000 territory, and we stayed above it. We're still trading above that hurdle, and as long as we remain above it, then there is a good chance for this index to drift further north, where my next target is the area around the 29,500 zone. So just kind of plus minus a few points here and there, but we also have the upper side of the rising channel pattern, where the index is currently trading in still. So yep, that's something to keep an eye on, because if we continue to respect the rising channel pattern, then well, we might see maybe a reversal back down here, and yep, then we could see this one moving sideways for a little bit, for a while. At the moment, of course, like I said, we will stay a bit more positive as long as the price remains above the 29,000 mark. And as I said, my next target is the area just around that 29,500 zone, and then we'll take it from there. The German index, DAX, and yeah, we had a nice, beautiful recovery yesterday. We traveled higher, however, we found it kind of stopped just fractionally above the 21-day EMA, which of course could be seen as a positive. For now, I mean, we are just stuck here, still below this downside line taken from the high of the 15th of June. So yeah, I'm looking at the cash index as well right now. We can see that the price is above yesterday's close. It's currently sitting just slightly above that 15,600 zone. And yeah, even if it pushes a little bit further north, then we'll keep an eye on this downside resistance line, and then we'll take it from there, because if it holds, if it provides a good hold up, yep, another slide could be possible. However, if this gets broken and we see a push above the current highest point of of this week near the 15,676 territory, then yes, this is where we will start looking at some higher levels again. So keep that in mind. The S&P 500 yesterday had a fantastic move higher, and yep, we created a new all-time high together with Nasdaq. I'll pick up on Nasdaq in a bit, but yeah, I mean, we've stayed above the previous all-time high, the 4,257, and of course all this just kind of gives a bit of a boost in morale among buyers, and yep, further push higher could still be possible. But if we start seeing a reversal here back below this 4,257 territory, then basically we might see maybe a bit of a corrective move here lower. So let's see how this is going to play out. We'll keep an eye on this upside support line taken from the low of the 4th of March, and yeah, and then we'll see if it wants to rebound from it or not. But again, all this in the scenario if we drop back below the 4,257 territory right here. If we stay above it, then well, the sky's the limit for this one. Nasdaq 100. So similar story, pushed higher nicely, and yep, it closed in positive territory. Not a huge gain, I would say, but nevertheless a positive territory, and most importantly that it was a new all-time high, which was tested here near the 14,429 zone, approximately around there. So now what I want to see here, and it would be really interesting to see if this is going to end up being like this or not, but will this little doji here end up forming maybe something of a, or the index will be ending up forming a possible kind of island reversal, where let's say if we open up right now with a little gap here to the downside and then we stay somewhere around here, then yes, this could be a beautiful island reversal, which of course, according to all the TA rules, could mean that we might see the instrument, the asset, kind of reversing either south or north here. I mean, in this situation, this particular situation, it would be south. However, of course, let's not rush into anything. Let's see if today's trading, for example, if we do open a little bit lower here, but then still push higher and end up the candle body will remain somewhere around here near the current all-time high, then well, we could be getting ourselves a possible engulfing pattern. So just bear with me, let me just quickly double check myself. So yes, we could be getting a nice engulfing pattern. Again, at the moment, I mean, we can only assume, we can only kind of try to predict and try to see which variation could be possible, which scenario could be possible. But either way, guys, you still need to wait for that final confirmation and wait for the index to kind of form the candle. At the moment, I would say that it's a little bit tricky here, even for the downside. I mean, of course, what we could do here is keep our eyes on the yesterday's low near the 14,337 zone. A nice good drop below it may lead to a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. But then, yes, of course, we'll be very careful here, and if it continues to slide and we break this upside line, then yes, certainly further declines are possible. But again, at the moment, we need to get to that stage first. So at the moment, what I'm keeping an eye on here is, of course, the low of yesterday near the 14,337, and of course the current all-time high near the 14,429. If that gets cleared, then yes, higher levels could be met again. DXY, the dollar index, so still hugging this this 200-day EMA here. I mean, you can see that yesterday, although we continued to trade below it, the index, the index still kind of didn't move further away from it. So for now, we're just kind of watching this one. And to be honest, I think that traders are keeping a close eye on the PCE figures. So from the US today, we do have the PCE price index. This is the Fed's favorite inflation metric. So yep, let's see how that's going to play out. Currently, there are no expectations for the headline ones, but the core ones are expected to, well, it's a bit of a mixed story there. So the month-on-month figure is expected to have declined by just 1/10 of a percent, but the year-on-year number is expected to have risen by 0.3 of a percent, whereas the like I said, the headline figures are not there are no forecasts at the moment for the headline figures. So, but we'll keep an eye on that. Check out the economic calendar, guys. I mean, see when it comes out in your time zone. So yep, that's something to watch today. Jumping into gold, of course, gold is also keeping a close eye on DXY, or dollar traders are, gold traders are keeping a close eye on DXY. So far, I mean, as I said before, the same analysis remains. We need to see either clear drop below the 1764-65 zone, or we would need to see a push through the kind of higher here, and a push above the 1798 zone in order to consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the upside. But again, at the moment, guys, long story short, we will stay careful here. We'll stay, I would probably take a bit of a neutral stand here and just wait for that confirmation break. WTI oil. So this is just spectacular because, again, yesterday, as you can see, we drifted below that 72.70 zone, but as you can see, we've once again failed to remain below it, which means that the upside scenario is not off the table. Yeah, as long as the price continues to trade above that 72.70 zone, we will continue targeting the upside, especially if the this upside line as well remains intact. This one's taken from the low of the 27th of May. So for now, long story short, basically for now we're still positive on this one. However, don't get me wrong, if suddenly this starts reversing south here and breaks the upside line, then, well, this is where I'll start looking at some lower levels. Now, Ethereum. So we drifted back up. we tested the downside line. This one here, taken from the high of the 15th of June, and yep, we're currently getting a hold up around there. So also at the same time, we can see that the 200-day EMA is doing its job, and it's providing a good resistance. So yes, for now, I mean, long story short, it could seem that we could still move to the downside as long as the downside line together with the 200-day EMA continue to provide resistance. But if you're a little bit more on the safer side, then yep, drop below the 1732 territory just could do the trick for more sellers here. Good morning, Evu, to you too. Yep, long time no see. Okay, so jumping into AUD/USD here. So yeah, looking at this picture, you can see that we're having a nice, beautiful recovery here after we found support near the 0.7478 zone, and yep, we've traveled back above the 200-day EMA, above some of these barriers here. So for example, the 0.7564 level, I talked about this, and I said that if we climb above it, then yep, we could aim for some higher levels for a bit of a larger correction to the upside. And yep, my next target will be this 0.7645 zone. But again, as long as the rate continues to trade above the 0.7564 territory right here. If it suddenly starts falling below it and falls below the 200-day EMA, then, well, I mean, we could consider maybe a bit of a move south. AUD/CHF, quick update. So I talked about this one as well already this week, and basically, and yesterday I spoke about this, and basically this This pair is quite interesting just because it's currently sitting near the downside resistance line, which, I mean, if it gets broken, then certainly, yes, higher levels could be met, especially also if the pair travels above the 0.6981 zone, which, as you can see, in the past acted as a fantastic area of resistance, support, and support again, then resistance. So now it could take the role of resistance again, but if it gets cleared, then yes, certainly higher levels could be met, guys. But of course, don't forget also about a false breakout, because those might happen as well. If we do get a false breakout and, for example, at the end of the day the pair still drifts back below this downside line and stays below it, then of course this increases the chances for a possible possible move lower. NZD JPY, very quickly on this one. So yeah, beautiful V-shaped recovery. What I'm aiming here for is an area somewhere near here, near the 78.60 zone, and of course this upside support line, to see if it's going to get tested from underneath or not, excuse me. So yeah, for now, I mean, for now it's all positive still, because we're back above all of the EMAs right now. So in a way, this could continue pushing higher, although we maybe could see this one as maybe a bit of an overstretch here in the short run. But looking at this picture, don't get me wrong, I mean, it could continue still pushing higher. So yeah, keep your eyes on this one. Keep your eyes on this upside line as well. So let's see if it's going to get a little hold up around here, somewhere near that 78.60 zone. USD/CHF. So also keeping an eye on this one and keeping an eye on the PCE figures today. So yep, guys, keep your eyes on those, if I can say it that way. Again, all this looks like a bit of a bearish indication here, because basically if we take this as a little flag here, like a little like from here, for example, if we only take it from here, I'll look at the big it's like the even bigger picture a little bit later, but here, for example, the candle here, the 21st of June candle, it might be seen as a pole here for the and this little consolidation here as a little bearish flag maybe, but again, and then we could see maybe a drift lower. It could break out to the downside here, especially if it falls below the 0.9165 zone, and then yep, we could test the 200-day EMA. But then this is where you would have to quickly reverse the idea and look at this as a bullish flag overall, because because if, for example, maybe this could be seen as one pole, and this little consolidation could be seen as a together with the the pole for the bearish flag, could be all this could be seen as a nice little pennant here, and yep, bullish pennant, and maybe yep, a push higher than it could be possible. But let me just quickly look at the weekly chart here. Yes, that's exactly what I was hoping to see here. So basically, this is where you could see that this potential bullish flag. So next week maybe we could see this one pushing higher. This week it could still drift to the downside. But yeah, maybe going into next week, this is where maybe the buying activity could resume, and then we could see this one pushing higher. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, let's see, the way you could position yourselves here is basically if we see a drop below the 0.9165, then yes, we could aim for a bit of a move lower here towards the 200-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. If it rebounds, then yes, we could start aiming for the upside again. Quick update on GBP CAD, and this is where I said to you guys to be always careful, because this is the perfect scenario where we need to wait for that daily candle to stay either above or below a certain level, a certain barrier. And this is one of those situations. We broke the upside line. We drifted below the 21-day EMA. We fell below the 1.7143 zone. So basically everything was leaning kind of more towards the downside, and everything was going lower. But as you can see, the daily candle drifted back up and stayed above the upside line. So, or just I would say maybe even bang on the upside line, but above the 21-day EMA. So all this basically worked out in favor for the bulls. However, let's say if the bears have enough steam to drive this one to the downside again, but for that I would need to see the pair again falling and staying, continuing to trade below this 1.7143 territory, and then yes, we could consider maybe a bit of a move to the downside. For the upside, I'm going to take a very conservative approach and wait for a push above the 1.7260 zone. GBP USD very quickly on this one, so yeah, also waiting for the dollar move. Yeah, I mean, we drifted back down yesterday. We saw the pair falling below the 100-day EMA briefly, but then eventually staying above the upside support line taken from the low the 25th of September of 2020. So, we're currently still trading above it. We're trading above that 100-day EMA as well. So, in a way, there is still a chance for a move higher. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves. If we suddenly see a drop below yesterday's low near the 1.3889 zone, then, well, we could maybe consider a bit of a corrective move here lower towards that 1.38 zone. And finally, EURUSD. So, trying to climb higher, but again, this 200-day EMA together with the 1.1943 territories continuing to provide resistance. So yeah, at the moment, it's a bit of a tricky one here. So we will have to just wait and see, and we'll just have to, if we do climb above the 1.1943 territory, yes, we could aim for the upside again. But as you can see, yesterday, for example, we also climbed above this barrier, above this resistance area, but then ended up drifting back down at the end of the day. So if it stays above the 200-day EMA, then yes, we could go for a bit of a larger correction to the upside. But if it continues to fail to and stay above the 200-day EMA, then, well, I mean, we might not be done with the downside yet. So guys, that's it for this session for this week. I hope you guys found it useful, and really thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. Thank you very much for your views, your comments, guys. I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place, guys. And yeah, everything will be fine. So thank you very much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next week on Monday at 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, have a wonderful trading day. Bye-bye.